Hi everyone. So I thought I would do some caveman romance recommendations. Now, I couldn't find a whole bunch of them because it's kind of a very, I'd say a very niche trope, so if you're looking for that type of stuff, you're not going to find like a whole bunch of them. So the first one I'll talk about, this is one I read and I actually did really like this one. This one's called Instinct by Alison Blackwood. So it says, he's the risk she's willing to take. The prehistoric Earth is a brutal beauty where menacing males stalk and snatch away unprotected women to disappear into the untamed wilds. She learned a hard lesson as a child the day her own mother was taken. Men are dangerous, men are cruel, men are not to be trusted. With her only family gone, she must fend for herself within the small female clan that offers little comfort and companionship outside their protection. Until one day a handsome stranger appears in the clearing of her favorite pool. While she hesitates to kill this dark and cunning wanderer, she's determined not to let his engaging smile and sweet gifts break through her defenses. But as their chance meetings continue, her barriers thin until she yearns for his company and hungers for his touch, a touch that promises untold pleasure, but could also spell their doom. For if her clan discovers a man in their midst, they will surely kill him on sight. But as time passes and the sensual bonds they share deepen, she is tempted to throw caution to the wind and risk the wrath of her clan for love. So, if you kind of like suspend reality a little bit, that's what I kind of had to do for this, because it's like, then how are you reproducing if you don't have men around? That don't make any sense. I'm like, they're just having women around. So I just thought it was kind of weird where I'm like, there's this like whole female clan, and then I'm like, well, how do they produce and have babies? So if you suspend reality a little bit, it is an enjoyable book. I did really like it when I read it. And they don't have names. It's like basically man, woman, and pup, because there's a dog in the book too. And it's a novella, so it's like you can get through it like pretty quick. So the next one I'd say is like probably my favorite out of all of the ones is Transcendence by Shay Savage. This one here I really liked. This one I thought was really, really well done. It's a time travel romance, so the heroine ends up getting going through like this time travel and ends up in this area. So it's said that women and men are from two different planets when it comes to communication, but how can they overcome the obstacles of prehistoric times when one of them simply doesn't have the ability to comprehend language? I'm going to say Ed, because it was EHD. Ed's a caveman living on his own in a harsh wilderness. He's strong and intelligent, but completely alone. When he finds a beautiful young woman in his pit trap, it's obvious to him that she is meant to be his mate. He doesn't know where she came from. She's wearing some pretty odd clothing, and she makes a lot of noises with her mouth that give him a headache. Still, he's determined to fulfill his purpose in life, provide for her, protect her, and put a baby in her. Elizabeth doesn't know where she is or exactly how she got there. She's confused and distressed by her predicament, and there's a caveman hauling her back to his cave home. She's not at all interested in Ed's primitive advances, and she just can't seem to get him to listen. No matter what she tries, getting her point across to this primitive but beautiful man is a constant and often hilarious struggle. With only each other for company, they must rely on one another to fight the dangers of the wild and prepare for the winter months. As they struggle to coexist, theirs becomes a love story that transcends language and time. And so, yeah, that basically, cavemen, at that time, they didn't have language. Like our brains were not developed enough at that time for speech. It was mainly grunts, things like that. So he can't speak, even if she tries to teach him. He cannot speak, English. Like I said, it's a function in his brain that hasn't evolved yet. So, you know, it's the same thing with like years ago, a lot more people were shorter. We've become more taller as we've, as the years have progressed, and we've become fatter too. So for their way of communicating, she had to learn to communicate with him in a different way than talking. She'd still talk to him, but it'd get to the point where he, you know, his head would start to hurt because trying to, you know, understand, you know, her language and everything and understand what she's saying. Like I said, his brain it didn't have that development yet. So it was good. I really enjoyed that one. I thought it was really well done. And, you know, her getting to know him and, you know, their slow progression into, like, you know, them falling for each other. So the next one I have to recommend, this one's Fall. It says Civilization is Only a Myth. This is by Claire Kent. This was a part of a series, but honestly, you could read this as a standalone. You'd be fine with it as a standalone because some of the series got kind of weird, and I wouldn't recommend the whole series, honestly, because I didn't like the whole series. There was some other books that I was like, wasn't really a big fan. This one here I really liked, though. So, as a pilot and a smuggler, Lena has spent her life flying under the radar in coalition space, taking care of herself, not relying on anyone. She's always liked it that way, but now she's stranded without any resources on a Stone Age planet, and the only way to survive is to hook up with a bunch of cavemen. She'll do whatever she needs to do in order to survive in their world, even if it means letting one of them take her as a mate. She doesn't expect to like it, or like him, or lose her heart in the process. So yeah, this was different because you have it to where it's more of a caveman or prehistoric planet. So usually that's pretty much where people kind of like dump people off of like, oh, we're going to dump this person here as like punishment because they were doing something in space or whatever it was. So they use that planet more or less of like, we're just going to leave you here and let you, you know, survive. So it's kind of like, it's a little bit different, you know, thing to it rather than like the other one was, like I said, more of a time travel one. So this one here, I haven't read this one yet, but this one sounds really interesting. And also there's like 26 books to like this series here. So if you're really into cavemen, this one here is like 26 books. So this one's called Caveman Aliens Ransom. And it's got a fucking dinosaur on the cover by Callista Sky. So this one here is, being abducted by aliens was never on my bucket list, but I guess the aliens didn't get that memo because one night I was beamed aboard a UFO. It dumped me on a bunch of other girls on an alien planet. So it kind of reminds me of like Ice Planet Barbarians. It's a Jurassic planet where giant murderous dinosaurs walk around and everything wants to kill me. My only hope of surviving is the first man I met here. His name is Jack Zan, and he's an alien and a caveman, as in the hottest super alpha caveman who ever lived. He's big and strong and doesn't talk much, but he's saved my life so many times now that I've lost count. My insides turn to hot mush whenever he fixes his smoldering eyes on me, and the scandalously sexy and unusual features, his sensationally muscular body, is rocking totally makes me forget time and place. There's only one problem: he's holding me for ransom, and he wants to repopulate his womanless planet with me. Expect steamy seams, mysterious aliens with features like adult toys, deadly planets, and the love story between a big beautiful woman from Earth and a sensationally hot alien warrior. So it says no cliffhangers, happily ever after. It sounds silly, but I delved into Ice Planet Barbarians wasn't expecting much, but I absolutely love that series. So, I mean, it could be the same thing with this here. I may delve into it and be like, oh my god, I really love this series. It could be like so silly, but I just thought it was interesting because I'm like, oh, so they're on this planet where dinosaurs still exist and there's like these cavemen kind of aliens. That's interesting. So I thought that sounded like, you know, really intriguing. So, yeah. And like I said, there's like 26 books to that series. So I'm like, obviously people like it enough to where the author kept writing them, you know? So this one here, the last one I'll recommend or, you know, talk about. Like, these are ones that I do want to check out. So this one's called Caveman. It's the first Mountain Man by Frankie Love. There's like 4 books to this series, I believe. Yeah, it's like 4 books in that series. And this one here is a little bit different. So it says, 1 minute I'm in an underground cave on a special ops mission, and the next thing I know, I've traveled through time. My life became prehistoric pretty damn fast. I may have fought the bad guys in the military, but now I had new enemies, woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers, and no other humans in sight. 5 years later, I'm still stuck here, lonely as hell, with a bright yellow bird I've named Polly to keep me company. What I really want is a woman. When a flash of lightning brings rain, I'm worried about my fire going out. Turns out that's the least of my concerns, because there's a new storm in this Paleolithic place. Her name is Skylar, a gorgeous force to be reckoned with, and she's plenty pissed to be stranded here with me. So it's just sounded interesting. So I definitely wanted to check that out. And like I said, that one there is like 4, it's like a 4 book series. So could be good, could be trash, you don't know. But yeah, like I said, I tried finding like how many like caveman-esque type of stories, and I don't really find a lot. Like if you look up prehistoric, you'll find like all kinds of like weird stuff on Amazon, like dinosaurs mating with humans, and I'm just like, what? Okay. Yeah, some of it's just really weird, and I'm just like, no. So, I tried kind of like finding like caveman, like let's look up caveman, you know, that type of thing. And I found, like I said, I found like, you know, some, but it's kind of a harder trope to find. Like a lot of people may not be interested in that type of trope. But it's a really obscure, different type of story. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video here. Let me know, have you found anything like that I haven't come across? Leave it down below in the comment section. But yeah, that's it for this video here. Have yourselves a good day. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other, and I'll see you all on the next video. All right, bye.